All right. Okay, so we're going to start with a very interesting subject. आगे की कुछ classes में भी we're going to continue speaking about chakras. Anybody, if you want to share anything about chakras or anything that you know, if you want to start with that, I will be happy to take your inputs. Otherwise, I'll get started. Okay, so just waiting to see if anybody wants to unmute and say anything. Okay. अगर आपके कोई questions हो, we will take it towards the end. If you want to make notes in between, please feel free to do that. कभी-कभी मन में सवाल आता है और फिर छूट जाता है. Like we forget through the session के सवाल क्या था. So make a note if required, and I'll try my best to answer it. If not now, then I'll answer it after some more research. Okay. तो I'll start with a disclaimer. कभी-कभी क्या होता है when we receive a new input and we are able to relate to it very strongly. It is a human tendency to start diagnosing people with having XYZ symptoms. तो हम जब chakras की बात करते हैं, these are universal. Every human being has chakras. There is no doubt about it. Although it is not anatomically visible, it is not something that a surgeon will cut open a body and see these 7 chakras. ऐसा नहीं होता है, because it is a part of what is known in yogic and Ayurvedic language as the sukshma sharir or the subtle body. It is not like an organ that can be seen. Okay. So chakras by definition are energy centers. We know by now, आप लोगों ने इतनी प्राणायाम classes attend किए. अगर आपने नहीं भी किए तो कुछ शब्द हैं जो आपने सुने होंगे, जैसे प्राण शक्ति. तो जैसे हम बोलते हैं ना, when somebody passes away, we say उन्होंने प्राण त्याग दिए. Correct? So the person has lost life. The person has lost vitality. That is how the word prana. It is not just breathing, it goes a lot more beyond the breathing mechanism or the respiratory process that we know of. Okay, तो chakra जो है हमारे, these are energy centers. इनके through प्राण शक्ति जो है वो हमारे शरीर में radiate होती है. And of course there are nadis, that also we've spoken about, that there are 72,000 nadis. These are pranic channels. जैसे पाइप के थ्रू पानी पास होता है, वैसे हमारे शरीर के अंदर there are thousands of pranic channels. तो चक्र के थ्रू वो एनर्जी रेडिएट होती है और वो प्राणिक चैनल्स के थ्रू हमारे पूरे शरीर के अंदर फ्लो करती है. Okay, so this is something that we all need to remember. Now coming back to the disclaimer, you will learn maybe a lot of new information. Some of it you may already know, some of it may be new. Some I'm hoping you will be able to assimilate. कि आपको इसके पहले जो पता था और आज आप जो सुनेंगे, you will be able to connect some dots. But please resist the temptation to go about diagnosing other people. Okay, I say this from personal experience because मैं ये पढ़ रही थी, तो I was thinking, अच्छा, maybe that is why that person is not taking care of himself. Maybe that is why उसका behavior ऐसा है. ये natural human tendency है. So my suggestion to you is that you go through all this information and see how it relates to your life. Okay, see how it relates to your behavior. The better we understand our own behavior and our own motivations in life and our own reasons for doing something and avoiding something, the better our awareness is, the better our behavior is with ourselves and with everybody else, every interpersonal relationship of ours. Okay, so that is the disclaimer I wanted to start with. Now coming to chakras, like I said, chakras are energy centers and every human being has it because we all have a physical or a gross body and we have what is known as a subtle body or सूक्ष्म शरीर. Okay? अब एनर्जी का ऐसा है ना कि एनर्जी बैलेंस में होना बहुत जरूरी होता है, राइट? अभी जैसे हमको अगर बहुत भूख लगी है और हमारे पास में बहुत लिमिटेड खाना है, it is not going to satiate us. It is not going to fulfill our needs, fulfill our hunger. Correct? Likewise, आपको लाइफ में जो भी करना है उसके लिए आपको एनर्जी चाहिए. Okay, the principle of energy is very important. तो अगर आपको requisite energy नहीं होती है, then your behavior is going to get affected. The way we lead our lives is going to get affected. At the same time, अगर energy का surplus है, जैसे हमको भूख moderate है, when we go to a fancy party or we go to a wedding reception and there are maybe 20 dishes on display and we end up stuffing ourselves knowingly or unknowingly. That is also going to affect our energy. हाँ, तो आपको पता चलेगा खाते यू विल फील लेथार्जिक, यू विल फील हैवी, यू विल फील स्लगिश, देन यू विल रिग्रेट कि क्यों इतना खा लिया। तो एक्सेस भी अच्छा नहीं होता है और कमी भी अच्छी नहीं होती है. दैट इज समथिंग दैट वी नीड टू रिमेंबर with respect to the concept of energy as well. Okay, so whether there is a deficit or whether there is a surplus, that is known as an imbalance, and it is going to cause some disturbances. ठीक है, so we're going to start with Muladhara chakra. Everybody has 7 chakras, और चक्र का ऐसे होता है ना that energy flows from bottom to the top. तो हम लोग जब चक्रस की बात करते हैं, the root chakra or the base chakra or the first chakra is the Muladhara chakra. Okay, now if you break up the word, तो मूल means root. Okay, मूल means root and आधार मतलब उसके सपोर्ट पे ही सब कुछ टिका हुआ है. जैसे हम लोग कोई मूवी देखते हैं तो उसमें लिखते हैं ना, if it is based on a true story, कि ये सत्य घटनाओं पर आधारित है. It is based on true stories. Okay, so Muladhara chakra is the base of life itself. You will understand more of that as we proceed further. Now, although chakras are not anatomically visible, they are not something that you can see like you can see an organ, they still have a base in the body, like they're situated at different points and specific points in the body. Also, there are many chakras. These 7 chakras are the major ones. ओके, तो चक्र और भी होते हैं, बट ये 7 जो है ये सबसे ज्यादा जरूरी होते हैं, जिसमें से आज हम सिर्फ एक मूलाधार चक्र की बात करने वाले हैं. ओके, सो फिजिकली इट इज फिजिकल एनाटॉमिकल लोकेशन इज सेड टू बी इन द पेरिनियम. नाउ पेरिनियम इज अ मसल between our anal opening and our genital organs. Okay, so everybody has a perineum. The base of the spinal cord, tailbone के पास में is where the location of this subtle शरीर के अंदर the location of the Muladhara chakra is said to be. So it is at the base. Okay, अब क्योंकि ये base पर है, it is going to impact the whole body just like the foundation affects the whole building. Correct? अगर foundation strong होगा तभी building strong होगी. अगर foundation weak होगा तो मतलब we are not going to be. So for example, if you are told to ride a bicycle on a cemented road, that is one thing. If you're told to ride a bicycle on sand, on beach, it is going to feel different. Even if you're asked to jog on a steady road or on grass, or on turf, and you're asked to run on loose sand, it is going to be different. Correct? Because the base is different. The stability is different. How you relate to it is going to change. You are the same, your body is the same, but your relationship is going to change. Understood? So far so good. Okay, everything that is going to be shared, it's going to build up. So please pay attention to everything and start connecting the dots in your head. Now, very important to know, that is why I think Ayurveda is so fascinating to me personally, because in Ayurveda, everything, I had attended a session by a very senior Ved, okay, Dr. Ram Manohar, his name is. उन्होंने एक बहुत ही significant बात कही थी, that in modern science, like medical school में जब आप जाते हैं, अगर आप if you study medicine, तो your course starts with a dead body. You're given a dead body, you're shown a dead body, you're asked to cut it open, you're asked to observe it, everything. Ayurveda begins with life, it does not begin with dead body. Okay, so as per Ayurveda and as per yoga, the development of the sukshma sharir happens before the gross body takes shape. तो जब when a child takes form in the womb, पहले उसकी जो है वो सूक्ष्म शरीर डेवलप होता है, पहले सटल बॉडी डेवलप होती है, उसके ऊपर there is flesh and bones and muscles. So the sthul sharir or the physical body comes second. It is the inner body or the sukshma sharir that develops first, and the first chakra that develops is the Muladhara chakra. Okay, very important to remember this thing because that is going to impact everything. Now if you look at the physical base, हालांकि चक्र फिजिकल नहीं है, tangible नहीं है, लेकिन अगर आप उसका बॉडी के अंदर पोजिशनिंग देखो at the perineum, okay, at the base of the spinal cord, then you correlate it with the physical body. Then it is going to work on which systems you can understand. Because it is close to the genitals, it is going to affect the reproductive system. Commonsensical. Okay, because it is so close to the anus, it is going to work on the excretory system. So our intestines, our colon, our bladder, our everything, the genitals, everything is going to be affected by the chakra. Correct? Because it is situated so close to it, right? So all these functions are going to be affected. Now understand that digestion, reproduction, excretion, all these are related to our very significant and very basic biological needs. Digestion, हम लोग बोलते हैं ना, basic human needs क्या होती है? रोटी, कपड़ा, मकान, है ना? So you need food, you need these basic things for survival and for security and for safety. When you know, अभी आप लोग संडे की सुबह आके यहाँ पे 7:30 बजे आराम से क्यों बैठे हैं? Because you don't have that fear or that worry that where my next meal is going to come from. If you had to think where my next meal is coming from, you will not be privileged enough to attend a pranayama class on Sunday morning. Correct? Commonsensical. आपको पता है that my basic needs are taken care of. I have a roof over my head. I have Wi-Fi also. That is why I've connected to the session. है कि नहीं? अगर आपको इतनी चिंता है कि मेरी basic जरूरतें पूरी नहीं हो रही है, then a lot of things are off limits. है ना? Then your struggle in life is different. Then you're firefighting on a daily basis. Okay? So slowly all this will come together. Just listen and see how it all fits together. Okay? तो जब, क्योंकि ये चक्र हमारे सेफ्टी, हमारे सिक्योरिटी, हमारी एनर्जी से रिलेटेड है, हमारी स्ट्रेंथ से रिलेटेड है. Only if you have food, then you can process things and you can have some aspiration in life. I was watching this wonderful interview. I am a big fan of Nilesh Misra. If you haven't heard of him, please note it down and please look him up. Okay, so he does something known as the slow interview with a lot of people, not just with celebrities, but there was this interview that he did with Nawazuddin, the actor Nawazuddin Siddiqui. And so Nawazuddin Siddiqui was recalling his days of struggle, as they call in Bollywood. And he said कि मुझे audition के लिए जाना होता था. There would be days when I would not have anything to eat. So he said, I don't know where he used to stay, but he said कि अगर बैंड्रा में ऑडिशन होता था ना, मैं चल के जाने के लिए तैयार था. अगर मेरे पेट में उतना खाना होता कि मैं चल के जा सकूं, मुझे चलने में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं थी, but I had no fuel to operate. You understand? So we need fuel to operate. That is why Muladhara Chakra is very, very important to take care of, because it affects us at a very primal, at a very biological level. And whatever we understand at the biological level is obviously going to affect us psychologically, mentally, and emotionally. Okay? तो ये develop होने लगता है जब हम womb के अंदर ही होते हैं. Now imagine there is a new life budding inside a woman's body. Okay? Now that soul is an old soul. An old soul is coming back to earth in a new physical body. Correct? तो हम जो बोलते हैं ना कि हमने शहर चेंज किया, हमने जॉब चेंज किया, हमने XYZ चेंज किया, तो we need time to adjust. So will that old soul not take time to adjust in the womb? It will take time, and it will need the right environment, which is where the science of Garbh Sanskar, also a part of Ayurveda, comes into picture. Okay, that is why when we train pregnant women, we tell them how to connect with that child in the womb, that unborn child which is now taking shape, okay, in a new body. So womb के अंदर जब वो develop होने लगता है, if that child feels well taken care of, if the Muladhara Chakra develops well, and it develops the most when the child is in the womb and in the first year of life, मतलब बच्चे के first birthday तक. Okay, so imagine if a child has not been taken care of after taking birth, if there's not much physical contact. There are research studies that have proven that अगर बच्चा पैदा होता है, and God forbid for some reason, अगर बच्चे को incubator में रखना पड़ता है, NICU में रखना पड़ता है, दोनों में से किसी एक की तबीयत ठीक नहीं है, बच्चे को अगर उतना ध्यान नहीं मिलता है, it affects the child's brain development and psychological growth. Okay, so this is proven. And now it all makes sense as a whole. Okay, तो जब बच्चा womb में होता है और पहले जिंदगी के पहले 1 साल में is where the maximum development of the Muladhara Chakra, or rather how it will turn out to be. is going to take shape. मतलब उसका spinning कैसा होगा, उसकी energy कैसी होगी, वो कितना balanced होगा. That is what I'm saying, because it is not an organ that is going to grow over a period of time like lungs. You know, that is not how it will be. And this is very important, because how this chakra is, or how its energy is going to make me feel rooted or unrooted. It is the root chakra. So it will make me feel at home if all is well. If I feel well taken care of. अगर मुझे टाइम पे खाना मिल रहा है, मुझे प्यार मिल रहा है, I can feel connected with myself and with my family members, then it is going to give me a sense of rootedness, a sense of belongingness. If I do not experience this, then it is going to change the course of my life in different ways. So far, so good. Makes sense? Yeah, sort of coming together. Good. Okay. So that is why हमारा जो self image होता है, how we relate to ourselves is highly dependent on whether our Muladhara chakra is working fine or not working fine. And because this is the root chakra, this is the first chakra, it is going to affect all the other chakras. It is like climbing a ladder. अगर आप पहले ladder के पहले रंग पे या पैर नहीं दे पाओगे, तो आप ऊपर कैसे चढ़ पाओगे? Okay, so it works like an ascending order. अगर मूलाधार चक्र आपका ठीक से हो रहा है, if your self image is fine, if you are at peace with yourself, if you have a healthy relationship with yourself, only then will you have healthy relationships within the family and beyond that as well. Okay, so very important. So self belief, self image, self perception, everything is based in the root chakra or the Muladhara chakra. Okay, this is also going to impact how trustful we are of people. So, you know, there are people, because of life experiences, because of whatever has happened over a course of life, they are only suspicious of others. मतलब जल्दी से किसी पे विश्वास नहीं कर सकते हैं. See, everything that we do, or everything that we think, everything that we associate others with is stemming from within us. Okay, so if I have trouble trusting myself and my abilities, I'm going to be very wary of others' abilities. And it permeates or percolates in every aspect of life. So we've all maybe, you know, have had superiors, we've had authority figures for sure. You know, so we may have known people जो जल्दी से काम delegate नहीं करते. मतलब उनको लगता है कि नहीं मैं ही सब कुछ करूंगा या करूंगी, because maybe they don't trust the other person to be as efficient. Okay, so giving you these small snippets to understand how it affects us and the way we operate in life. Okay, so trust is a major thing. Another major thing that it affects are personal boundaries. See, if my self-image is poor, my self-esteem is poor, then I am okay with treating anyway, na? कोई मुझसे कैसे भी बात करे, कोई मुझे फॉर ग्रांटेड ले ले, कोई मुझे यू नो पब्लिकली डिसरिस्पेक्ट करे, I may not stand up for myself because my self perception is low. If you've seen the movie Jab We Met, you know, there is a very popular line from that movie where Kareena Kapoor's character says that मैं अपनी favorite हूँ. You know, her self esteem is very high. She loves herself. She just loves herself. Okay, so such people you will not be able to take for granted. Of course, in the movie, it's a very interesting character. So when we come a little later, I'll bring her up again because her energy is in excess. And that is why she makes some wrong decisions in life. Okay, so वो energy का balance होना भी बहुत जरूरी. But if somebody thinks, you know, self-talk says that I'm good for nothing, then it doesn't matter बाकी लोग मेरे बारे में क्या बोलते हैं, मुझे कैसे treat करते हैं ना, then it's very easy to be a doormat. That is why lot of people say stuck where they are. Okay, now very important to understand कि ये हमारा root चक्र है, तो ये हमारा foundation है, ये सबसे पहले होता है. तो हर एक चक्र जो है ना, वो एक किसी ना किसी एक हमारे जो पंच महाभूत है, the 5 elements that we are made of. Okay, I hope everybody remembers that. Even if you don't, it is okay. I'll send the link and you can go through that session again. तो ये कौन से वाले elements से, just take a few seconds and understand. There are 5 elements, we all know that. There is Agni, Vayu, Akash, Prithvi and Jal. Okay, so which of these 5 elements you think the Muladhara chakra is going to relate to or associate with the most? When we're talking about foundation, foundation is not made in the air. Foundation is not made out of fire. It is not made in the wind. It is not made in water. It is made on land. So it relates with Prithvi, the element of Prithvi or earth. Correct? So that is also something that we need to remember, because that is where the one of the solutions or one of the ways or one of the tools of strengthening the Muladhara chakra lies. Okay. Also see the Prithvi element, हमने उस सेशन में भी इस बारे में डिस्कस किया था कि ये पांचों एलिमेंट्स मतलब हम इन पांचों के बनने इसका मतलब क्या है. जैसे हमारे जो बोन्स हैं, अर्थ इज हैवी, मिट्टी इज गोइंग टू बी हैवी, क्ले इज गोइंग टू बी हैवी. तो हमारे बॉडी में जो हेवी एलिमेंट्स है लाइक बोन्स, दैट इज रिलेटेड टू द पृथ्वी एलिमेंट. ओके, सो अ स्मॉल स्निपेट हियर दैट दोज हु हैव ट्रबल रिलेटेड टू बोन्स should work more on their prithvi element. Like we had said in that session also कि अगर बॉडी में जैसे हम बोलते हैं कि लंग्स में पानी भर गया, there is excessive water, it is the jal element, so one needs to work on the water element. Similarly, when it comes to things related to bones, one needs to work on the prithvi element. Okay, now coming to some of the, जब चक्र, जब हम बोल रहे हैं कि बैलेंस नहीं है, इम्बैलेंस है, तो उसको बहुत सिंपली बोला जाता है that the chakra is blocked. Okay, that is called the chakra is blocked. Now there are some, कोई भी चक्र आप ले ले, कोई भी आप बीमारी भी अगर आप ले ले, you know, because it is all psychosomatic and somatopsychic, there will be physical signs, there will be mental signs, and there will be behavioral signs that will manifest जब हमारे साथ में कुछ imbalance होता है, तो किसी भी टाइप का imbalance हो तो. Right now we are talking about the physical signs of a blocked Muladhara chakra. Okay, एक तो इन लोगों में there will be weight related issues. Now see, it is very simple. Okay, अगर कोई है जिसका basic needs पूरा नहीं हो रहा है, you imagine there is a person who's not sure where his next meal is going to come from. Even worse, if that person is an adult who has a child to take care of, then you are dying of a different stress only. कि मैं तो भूखी मर रही हूँ, मेरा बच्चा भी भूखा मर रहा है. Correct? Now that kind of a person who's deprived of those 3 square meals a day is obviously going to have weight issues. हाँ, ये वो फलने फूलने वाला तो नहीं है ना. There's going to be underweight issues. Now, if that person gets like a free, you know, invitation to a buffet meal, you think that person is going to eat in moderation or overeat? वो ऐसे खाएगा जैसे उसने कभी खाना देखा ही नहीं और उसके बाद में पता नहीं कब खाना देखने को मिलेगा. Commonsensical, obviously. So that person is going to have weight issues. This can be weight, like underweight issues also, and overweight issues also, because it can give rise to greed in that person. क्योंकि उनको पता नहीं है ना अगला कब मिलेगा, अगला मील कब मिलेगा. So one can tend to be greedy and go overboard with that also. That greed will also be related to materialistic things. क्योंकि you are so fearful of losing what you have that you will hoard. You know, there are people जो मतलब 20 साल पहले का कपड़ा अभी तक वार्डरोब में ही है, उसको रिटायर नहीं किया है, उस कपड़े को पहनेंगे भले नहीं, but they will not want to let go. They want to hold on. Okay, so that tendency can be seen. It is a sign of an imbalanced Muladhara chakra. Such people will have constipation and digestive issues. अगर आप बहुत कम फ्रीक्वेंसी पे खा रहे हो या अगर आप बहुत ज्यादा फ्रीक्वेंसी पे खा रहे हो तो पेट तो खराब होने ही वाला है ना. Commonsensical, plus understand that colon, bladder, intestines, they are all a part of the area where the Muladhara chakra is situated. They may have pelvic pain, they may have lower body pain, they may have unexplained pain. मतलब they may not have a trigger, they may not understand मैंने तो कुछ नहीं किया, मुझे ऐसा दर्द क्यों हो रहा है. Okay, that is a sign of a blocked Muladhara chakra. Okay, then of course diseases, medically diagnosable diseases related to colon, bladder, intestines, reproductive system, excretory system can also indicate a blocked Muladhara chakra. Very interesting. I was wondering incontinence यहाँ पे क्यों आ गया. So you know, when we talk about urinary incontinence, a child who has stopped bedwetting suddenly starts peeing while in bed, तो हम हमेशा अब डॉक्टर के पास लेके जाएंगे, डॉक्टर हमेशा पूछेगा कुछ चेंज हुआ है क्या, स्कूल चेंज किया है, सोसाइटी चेंज किया है, फ्रेंड्स छूट गए हैं, फैमिली में कुछ डिस्कॉर्ड है क्या, आर एनी ऑफ दीज थिंग्स हैपनिंग, बिकॉज द चाइल्ड इज स्ट्रेस्ड एंड देयर इज यूरिनरी incontinence. So a child who had stopped bedwetting has started again. So fascinating. It is a sign of a blocked Muladhara chakra, because that child is not feeling safe and secure. That child is not feeling at home. Urinary incontinence is very common in children who've gone through abuse, okay, physical abuse, or maybe let's say there's a lot of abuse in the house. फैमिली का माहौल अगर अच्छा नहीं है, हेल्दी नहीं है, पॉजिटिव नहीं है, तो वो बच्चे को अफेक्ट करता है एंड इट लीड्स टू इनकॉन्टिनेंस. In adults the same will not happen, but what will happen in adults? They will have anxiety, they will have stress, they may have panic attacks, they may have seizures. People who have epilepsy, they may not have seizures every day, but maybe someday they're not able to manage it. मतलब पानी सर के ऊपर चला गया है, they may have a seizure. Make sense? Yeah? All right. What people may also have is insomnia, inability to sleep, which is common in people who have digestive issues. If you've seen the movie Piku, he never has a good night's sleep. The day before that man dies, if you've not seen Piku, please see it. Please watch it. Very strongly recommended. So the day that man is going to die, that is the day when he has a good sleep. He goes for a nice round of cycling. He has his favorite breakfast, and then he just falls asleep. He just dies in his sleep. Okay, so maybe something that he was really holding on to, he could finally let go of, and that is when you take off for the final journey. Okay, so these are some of the physical signs. This is not an exhaustive list. Then there are some mental signs, of course. कि mentally आप कैसे feel करते हैं. Now see, please understand that people who do not connect with themselves find it very difficult to connect with others. People who are very people who don't know how to express themselves. There are people who will not be able to express love verbally. उनसे बोला ही नहीं जाएगा. They will not know. They may be awkward. They may hold on. They may feel it, but they may not be able to express it. So the way we relate to ourselves is the way we will relate to our families, to our closed ones, to everybody around us. So mental signs is that they feel disconnected from themselves and from others. And that is why they are highly distractible. There are people who struggle to make eye contact and speak. हाँ, वो सब जगह देखेंगे, वो आपकी तरफ देख के बात नहीं कर पाएंगे जब आप उनके सामने खड़े हैं. Okay, so that could also be a sign that they don't feel that confidence will be low. Self esteem जब low होता है तो confidence high नहीं हो सकता है. The two cannot coexist. Okay, now because of this they are distractible. They can be highly volatile and indecisive. क्योंकि उनको पता नहीं है ना. देखिए, जब आपकी सिक्योरिटी का सवाल है, जब आपकी सेफ्टी का सवाल है, when you don't feel at home, when you don't feel a sense of belonging, how will you have aspirations in life? How will you have dreams? Why will you want to jump out of bed every morning and go about your day? Okay, which is why depression can be very common in those with a blocked Muladhara chakra, because they don't feel rooted, they don't feel a sense of belonging. Okay, very easy for them to feel exhausted and lethargic, जिसको हम बोलते हैं बहुत आलसी आदमी है यार. Very easy for them to feel that way. See, again we go back to that eating वाला example. अगर आपने बहुत कम खाया है, भूख आपकी बहुत तेजी पर है, पर आपने बहुत कम खाया है, you're not going to feel energetic. You're not going to feel like you want to go out and conquer the world. अगर आपने जरूरत से ज्यादा खा लिया है, या आपका पेट खराब है, you have loose motion or you have acidity, you don't want to do anything. Your system will not allow you to do anything. You will just want to rest it out. So these people with a heavily blocked Muladhara chakra will just want to do nothing. Okay, and they feel exhausted. They feel like something is like holding them back. They will obviously have increased feelings of anxiety, stress, and depression. Okay, they may take a very long time to recover from a setback. Emotionally, they may take much longer than somebody who does not have a blocked Muladhara chakra. They may feel very badly stuck in a situation, in a relationship, but they may not want to take any action. कभी कभी ये भी होता है मूलाधार चक्र में, if the energy is excess, then you get just too comfortable. You know, जिसको हम comfort zone बोलते हैं, इतना हो गया बस हो गया अभी, मतलब ठीक है. Then you don't, like, you know, there are people who will not want to try anything new to eat or a new kind of attire or go to a new place. There are people who get way too comfortable in their routine, in their usual choices. उसके आगे मतलब उनका उस दायरा जाएगा ही. Okay, so that is also quite possible if that happens. Okay, now how this will reflect in behavior. अगर ये सारी चीजें हो रही हैं physically or mentally, how it will reflect in physical behavioral symptoms. Of course, they will have very poor self-care and hygiene. They don't think they are worth it. If I think I'm not worth it, why will I want to take the trouble of taking care of myself? जरूरत क्या है, किसको पड़ी है, मुझे ही नहीं पड़ी है तो किसी और को क्यों पड़ी है? All right, so I have people who sign up for the classes, but they just don't turn up. They just don't turn up. Very sad. मतलब that is the kind of money that I find very difficult to have in my account. यार पैसे तो उसने दे दिए, वो आ ही नहीं रही है, you know, वो अच्छा नहीं लगता है. Okay, so they'll have very poor self-care and very poor hygiene standards, right? They don't feel the motivation to take care of themselves. Overeating or undereating or starving, they have a very poor relationship with their body. These are people who are always cursing their bodies. They're never happy with how they look. They're constantly rejecting themselves. Okay, so see, acceptance is very, very important. Santosh is one of the niyam. तो जब हम अष्टांग योग की बात करते हैं, yam niyam, then comes asan. Santosh is a niyam, contentment. Unless you accept what you have, there is no way you're going to get any better. You're only going to either stay there or you're going to get worse. Okay. So overeating and undereating is common. Hoarding of material items, like I told you, they will not want to share. They will not want to part with anything. And if they lose something, then they'll take a very long time to recover, and they will hate the person because of which they, let's say they lent an item to someone. They lent me a book and I lost the book. They'll never forgive. But they'll take a very long time to, make peace with something like that. Okay. They may also have a greed for money. तो मन नहीं भरता है ना, तो आपको और चाहिए. That happens. Okay, they may also have phobias and fears. See, because it relates to security, I don't feel safe, I don't feel taken care of, I don't feel कि मेरी basic जरूरतें पूरी हो रही है, then obviously I'm going to be fearful of a lot of things. So then we'll take maybe, ऐसे एक example that let's say there is somebody who is in a job where he is not at all happy. He is not happy about the work that he or she is doing, about his superiors, about the work environment. Let's say it is very demotivating to go to work every morning, but that person may still not go job hunting because वो डर रहेगा कि अगर दूसरा मिला नहीं मिला, इससे ज्यादा बुरा निकला तो क्या होगा, और अगर वहां पे से मुझे काम से निकाल दिया. Very fearful behavior, constantly fearing change. वो जो हम fear of the unknown बोलते हैं, then obviously that person is going to overthink. Obviously it is going to lead to stress and anxiety. So it is all working in tandem, working simultaneously. Okay, so it is very common for such people. While I was researching for this topic, I read that one line was worth all the research. It said if a person can establish a healthy relationship with fear, then you can strengthen your Muladhara chakra. There will always be something to be fearful of. Nobody is saying that you jump off a plane without a parachute. That is not what anybody is saying. What we are saying is that if you have done your homework, if you know that there are safety parameters in place, if you know there is an instructor with you, if you've been trained, then you take that leap of faith. Nobody is saying jump without a parachute. Okay, so there, if you can establish a healthy relationship with fear, then you can strengthen your मूलाधार चक्र. Fear तो मतलब सड़क पार करने में भी danger है ना, तो उसका ये मतलब तो नहीं कि हम घर से बाहर ही नहीं निकले, right? So that is how it works. So coming back to that example that I took from Jab We Met, okay, she has an matlab overload of energy, that character. If you've not seen Jab We Met, please see it. Okay, Kareena Kapoor's character Geet has an overload of energy. Okay, so she has a wonderful family, very close knit family. Matlab because it is Bollywood, then obviously they are a very loud and brash and overly expressive Punjabi family. But she is so rooted and she is so, matlab she is all heart. And she falls in love with this guy and she decides कि मुझे बस इससे शादी करनी है, and she just takes off to go and get married to the guy. And she just hands over the remote control to this guy. Okay, तो वो होना भी ठीक नहीं होता है. मतलब to have that kind of energy where you stop using your mind, when you stop using your discretion, is also not a good sign. Okay, तो वो overload भी नहीं होना चाहिए और वो under भी नहीं होना चाहिए. Okay, so after everything, what are the ways, what are the tools that we have? Also remember that these are chakras. अब हम लोग जब रोजाना हमारा thought process, energy levels, तबीयत जब same नहीं होती है, तो रोज सारे चक्र एक जैसे कैसे हो सकते हैं? नहीं हो सकता ना. That can only happen when we are in a state of samadhi maybe. And I don't know, I'm just speculating. Maybe that happens in a state of samadhi. मैंने की नहीं है तो मुझे पता नहीं है. But it can't be the same every day because we meet different people, we have different experiences, we have losses in life, we have tragedies, we have achievements. So things keep changing, correct? So what can we do to make sure that the chakras are in the right balance? तो आज क्योंकि हम मूलाधार चक्र की बात कर रहे हैं, तो हम लोग उससे related क्या tools हमारे पास में है, that we are going to explore. So one, there are asanas, there are postures जो हम लोग classes में करते हैं that help in stimulating as well as releasing excess energy. तो उनको stimulate करना ताकि उनकी energy balanced रहे वो भी जरूरी है. अगर excessive energy है तो उसको काबू में लाना वो भी equally जरूरी है. So which are the asanas? I'm going to give you a few seconds to think. आसन जो भी आपने किए हैं, जो भी आपको ध्यान आता है, आंखें बंद करके 2 मिनट बैठना है तो बैठिए. Which are the asanas that physically make you feel rooted? Think about it. And if you can think of anything you want to unmute and share, please do that. We have less time, but I will love to hear. Okay? तो कविता जी ने unmute किया है.
Malasan.
Excellent. So happy. Now tell me why you think Malasan will make one feel rooted.
Because of the posture, the way it is, and the stress on various joints.
Correct. Thank you so much, ma'am. Also because see, Malasan relates to the reproductive system and the excretory system, correct? So obviously it is going to, हम जब शंख प्रक्षालन भी करते हैं तो हम वो उकड़ू पोजीशन में बैठ के पानी पीने के लिए कहते हैं because it works on the excretory system. So thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, anyone else? Mansa.
The forward bending poses where we try to extend right from the root.
Correct. Thank you
the
so
forward
much.
bending.
Thank you. So Uttanasana, for example, या हम लोग सूर्य नमस्कार में हम जो forward bend करते हैं, that is also हस्त उत्तानासन. Very well said. Sonali, आप unmute कर रहे थे. Tell me.
Maybe Sukhasana. Where is it?
Correct. More than Sukhasana, I get your point. Sukhasana is also one of the asanas, and so is the child pose. You remember we keep saying surrender yourself to the earth. The earth is the Prithvi element. That is what the Muladhara chakra relates strongly to. Anyone else? Yes, Gitanjali ji. So happy to see young students attending and coming forward. Boliye, ma'am.
I think the Titli pose. The Titli one.
Tithli pose. Tithli will relate also more so to another chakra which we will come to in the following classes. But I like the thought process. Thank you for sharing, ma'am. Tithli will relate, but usse bhi zyada jo strongly hai. Like I said, this is not an exhaustive list, but there are other poses too. Sheetal ji, kuch bolna hai, boliye please.
Majar Kriya.
Not really, not Majar Kriya. See, also remember, Kriya is a movement. and we are talking about staying rooted, मतलब स्थिर रहने की, stability की बात हो रही है. तो kriyas will not be a part of this. Yes, Kavita ji. Sorry, the tree pose. So I was waiting for somebody to name the tree pose. We are talking about roots here. How can we not talk about trees? Okay, so Vrukshasana is definitely one of the poses. Okay, so sharing the list now. There is Tadasana also. You remember we say that stand with your feet widely distributed. नए students को नहीं पता होगा, मैं फिर से group पे share करूँगी. When you stand with your feet widely distributed, when you stand tall, when you engage the whole body, how can you feel uprooted? You are going to feel rooted. So there is Tadasana, there is Vrukshasana, there is Uttanasana, which is the forward bend, as Mansa rightly pointed out. There is Veerbhadrasana, the warrior pose. Okay, very demanding pose, but Veerbhadrasana also. There is Setubandh Asana. Setubandh Asana is the glute bridge where we lie down, the feet are planted and we lift the hips up. So only the shoulders and the feet are on the ground. So Setubandh Asana. The child pose or Balasana. Okay, where you are surrendering yourself into the earth. There is Malasana, of course. The whole of Surya Namaskars makes us feel very rooted because Surya Namaskar works on all the chakras and usme bahut sare postures aate hain. So very soon when we start, we already have a video on that. कि Surya Namaskar का कौन सा pose, कौन से chakra पे काम कर रहा है. We already have a video, so maybe I'll share that also with you. And then there is everybody's favorite Shavasana. We can't miss Shavasana. We are in contact with the earth. The whole body is in contact with the earth in Shavasana. So how can Shavasana not be a part of it? Okay, which is why it really pains me when people leave the class before Shavasana. मतलब मुझे लगता है बड़े बदकिस्मत लोग हैं यार, शवासन छोड़ के जा रहे हैं. Okay, for whatever reason, some people have time constraints, so I understand that. Okay, now there are mudras, which obviously will work on this. One mudra we've already covered, which is the Yoni mudra. So for the benefit of new students, I will share that on the group, और आप Yoni mudra का video देख सकते हैं. And another mudra, obviously हम पृथ्वी की बात कर रहे हैं, the element of पृथ्वी, and we know that every element is represented by a certain fingertip. तो हमारी जो ring finger होती है, there is Agni, there is Vayu, there is Akash, there is Prithvi, and there is Jal. तो हमारी जो ring finger होती है, that represents the Prithvi element. So this is the Prithvi mudra. Okay, जहाँ पे आप अपने thumb का टिप और अपने रिंग फिंगर का जो टिप है उसको आप जोड़ते हैं और इसको आपको थोड़ा प्रेस करना होता है, so you can feel some throbbing. ओके, तो वो पल्स जैसे आपको फील होना चाहिए. और फिर हम हाथ जो है जैसे हम अपने थाइस के ऊपर रखते हैं ना, एल्बोस को थोड़ा बेंड करके अपवर्ड फेसिंग, गीतांजलि जी, अपवर्ड फेसिंग, और अपने थाइस के ऊपर, नीस के थोड़ा ऊपर देखिए प्राणिक चैनल्स होते हैं. तो एनर्जी जो है ना वो फ्लो होके वापस हमारी बॉडी में ही आनी चाहिए. तो हाथ जो है आपके नीस के बाहर नहीं, नीस के थोड़े से अंदर ही रखने होते हैं. ओके, सो दैट इज कॉल्ड द पृथ्वी मुद्रा. ओके, अभी प्रैक्टिस का टाइम नहीं बचेगा बिकॉज आई स्टिल हैव सम मोर ग्राउंड टू कवर. सो वी विल प्रैक्टिस दिस इन द नेक्स्ट सेशन, डोंट वरी अबाउट दैट. तो पृथ्वी मुद्रा और योनि मुद्रा. योनि मुद्रा भी जब हमने किया था, सो वी नो योनि इज व्हाट, द वजाइना. सो इट रिलेट्स टू द जेनाइटल्स. तो हमारे रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम से रिलेटेड, हमारे जेनाइटल फंक्शन से रिलेटेड, हमारे मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल से रिलेटेड, व्हिच इज व्हाई योनि मुद्रा इज वेरी गुड टू बी प्रैक्टिस्ड ड्यूरिंग पीरियड्स, वेरी गुड फॉर दोज सफरिंग फ्रॉम unexplained infertility or any sort of reproductive or endocrine related, period related concern basically. Okay, and Prithvi mudra is what will keep one grounded. Also, since we spoke about bones, people with bone related concerns, osteoarthritis, osteoporosis, whatever, will benefit from practicing Prithvi mudra. So when we cover the mudra in detail, we will come to that. Okay, another very important thing which देखो हमने physical level की हम बात करते हैं, हम mental, psychological सबकी बात करते हैं, right? तो एक ये मुद्रा हो गई जो हमारे physical level पे और हमारे psychological level पे भी काम करेगी. Another thing is that because we are made of the 5 elements of nature, and because unfortunately a lot of us are so disconnected from nature, that is why we have imbalance also. है ना, हमारी लाइफस्टाइल ऐसी हो गई है कि आयुर्वेद में कहते हैं कि सुबह जब आप उठो ना तो सबसे पहले आपको तुलसी का पौधा देखना चाहिए. हम सबसे पहले व्हाट्सएप देखते हैं या अलार्म स्नूज करते हैं. Unfortunately, that is what our life has come to. Not that we are powerless. We still have alarm clocks. But because the phone has an alarm, we set alarms on the phones. Okay? So we do have choices, not like we are powerless or helpless. We created this life for ourselves. And because we created it, because we are the creators, we also have the power to change it or modify it. So that is some food for thought and homework. Okay? So if we spend more time in nature, there is research on that, I'm sure. I have not read it, but I'm sure there is a research on that. तो जब आप नंगे पैर घास पे चलते हैं, जब आप रेत पे चलते हैं, it is going to strengthen your prithvi element. And I don't know about other countries. I've only lived in India and I've only lived in Mumbai for all of my life. There are definitely more gardens in Mumbai than there are malls. ऐसा मैंने कोई सर्वे नहीं किया है, बट मुझे ये पूरा विश्वास है कि there are मैदान्स, there are grounds, there are small parks, and there is more that is coming up. मतलब अगर मैं अपने घर के within 2 kilometer radius में अगर मैं explore करूं in every direction, then I'm sure there are going to be at least 5, if not more. मतलब I can count 5 at the. I stay in an area called Liberty Garden. What are you talking about? Okay, so there are parks everywhere. How many of us go? है ना, हम खुले में जाना हमने कम कर दिया. It really pains me to see people taking kids to malls over the weekends. मतलब weekend outing is equal to mall. It is synonymous with a mall visit. So we need to spend more time in nature to also work on the chakras. So that is important. And what I find very fascinating is, it's part of the research. See, self-talk is very important. And self-belief is very important. So there are certain affirmations. मुझे affirmations के बारे में ऐसा लगता है कि you can only affirm the truth. You cannot affirm. मतलब when you are affirming something, every cell of your body has to buy that, has to believe that. You should feel it in your bones. If you can't feel it in your bones, then you can't affirm it. मतलब it's just lip service. आप 50 बार आप बोल दो, what is the point if you can't feel it inside you? Okay, if it doesn't do something inside. So there was a long list of affirmations that I came across, and this is not a standard list. You can make your own affirmation, but these are 4 that I liked. So I'm sharing these 4 with you. One and very important first one is, I am open to all possibilities. Now, if you say that and if you feel that with every fiber of your being, it is going to shift something inside. I am open to all possibilities. See, a lot of times there is a Kurukshetra going on inside the mind only. मतलब mind is only a battlefield. हम अपने आप से ही लड़ते रहते हैं. बाकी से लड़ने के लिए तो अपने को एफर्ट ही नहीं डालना पड़ता है, बिकॉज हम खुद से ही लड़ते रहते हैं. Okay, so if we have a closed mindset, it is obviously going to affect the way we relate to ourselves, others, the way we operate in this lifetime. So saying with belief that I'm open to all possibilities paves the way for acceptance. I had shared this in one of the previous classes. One of the teachers I was learning something from said a very important thing. He said, what you resist persists. You keep fighting something, that thing will remain intact. What you accept transforms. The moment you accept something, your relationship with that person, that situation, that dynamic changes. And that change allows you to operate differently. I also read something very beautiful on somebody's WhatsApp status yesterday or day before. I saved it also. It says that when you continue to remain irritated with somebody's behavior and somebody's refusal to change, you also refuse to change. I'll say that again. When you continue to remain irritated by somebody's refusal to change, you also refuse to change. So if I'm going to meet somebody, for example, and I don't like that person, I'm going to approach that person differently. अरे यार वो बहुत जोर से बात करता है, अरे यार वो हमेशा लेट आता है, यार वो सुनता ही नहीं है. It's already going to affect that meeting. It is a new meeting. but I'm operating from an old perception. Okay, so that person refuses change. I refuse to change my perception about the person. Our relationship refuses to change. Every experience is a replication of the old experience. So I'm going to perpetuate that behavior in myself. उसको कोई फर्क पड़ेगा या नहीं पड़ेगा, फर्क तो मुझे पड़ रहा है. Correct? Okay. All right. Another affirmation that I really liked was, the earth provides a safe place for me. If I start believing that this earth, this universe provides a safe place for me, it is going to change something inside me at a very deep level. Very, very deep level. Another was, I trust my body's wisdom. You know, I have a group class of prenatal students. Okay. And happens with every woman. Those of you who've had kids, I'm sure you can relate to it. Okay. First, there is excitement about the pregnancy. Then there are so many changes. There are physical changes, emotionally, hormone, ये वो सब कुछ होके जाता है. फिर then there is excitement क्योंकि now I'm going to embrace parenthood. But उसके पहले there is that anxiety and fear related to delivering the baby. So everything is fine. Or जैसे the third trimester kicks in, no, then I get those messages, you know, that I'm not able to sleep properly. मुझे anxiety हो रही है, you know, कैसे होगा, कितना pain होगा, etc., etc. Okay. So we always tell them that trust your body, trust nature. Your body knows, your baby knows when to come out. Your body knows when to bring the baby out. Okay. So trust your body's wisdom. I took that example because it is a very strong one that a lot of people will be able to relate to. Okay. Another one of my favorites, and I completely, every cell of my body believes in this. I trust the universe to support me. Okay. I'll give you an example. I'm very emotional about this. And जैसे जैसे ये date नजदीक आती, we're already on the 27th of March. On the 1st of April 2020, I had my first online class. Okay, as a freelancer, without a job, without a steady income, when COVID hit us and we went into lockdown, I didn't know how I would run the house. Okay, I have old parents and this is my family's source of income. So imagine what I could have gone through. So 1st of April 2020, I had my first online class. And I think the universe just wanted me to do this. I will also share that I've always told myself that I'm technically challenged. Matlab, it is part of my self-talk. I'm trying to change it. I'm still not there. So, you know, I had this thing, online kaise hoga? How will I see? How will I correct people? Oh, beech mein Zoom kaam nahi karega, beech mein internet kaam nahi karega. How will it happen? You know, and fair enough, the first class that I had, it was a trial class. And I did goof up with Zoom. Matlab, I didn't know what to do. You know, echo ho raha hai, awaaz nahi aa rahi, koi bol raha hai, aise ho raha hai, waise ho raha hai. But by God's grace, is going to be a full 3 years in 4 days' time. Okay. And some of you have been, like Pratima is here. I'm so happy Pratima is here. Pratima used to attend offline classes with me. And she was part of the first class that I conducted online. And she's still here. And her sister from US, Aparna ma'am, and her husband are still here. Okay. So I just feel that the universe wanted to give me this opportunity that, you know, there is a lot more that you can do and a lot more shores that you can reach when you take the online mode. So I truly believe that the universe supports me, and I hope so do you. Okay. With that, we'll start with Shavasana. We don't have time for practice, but how can we not do Shavasana today and strengthen our connection with Prithvi? So please lie down. Once everybody is ready, I will start. I'm going to stop recording now.